Hi. Okay, so we're gonna do a 10-minute flow micro workshop. I just got done teaching a class and I just noticed watching the class, just some stuff in students that a lot of us get caught into habits that kind of get drilled into us and they become just a constant and it's harder to break. So I wanna kind of break some bad habits or some unsafe habits that you might be doing that I know I was doing forever until I found out these few little tricks, which I love, like game changers. This whole spin your hands thing that I was taught years into practicing yoga changed the game for me. We're gonna get into that, so don't worry about it. You didn't miss the hand spinning. Okay, so a flow, a lot of times, here's what happens in a flow. Let me just get into that. There's a sense of your down dog, you come up forward into a plank and the knees are already starting to bend. And the second your knees starting to bend, this is part of your core. You're gonna lose that belly as well. And then people start to come down. This gets really laborsome. And the first thing that gives instead of the knees is they'll let their back sway down. Absolute opposite of that. So what you wanna do is even the mentality of this is to think up while you go down. So that means the backs of your knees are pressing to the sky as you go down. And if it gets too laborious for you to keep those knees pressing up and your upper body needs some help, then you lower them down and make sure the belly's contained in as you come down, either to a chaturanga arm or down to your belly. All good. Another thing that happens is I see when people lower down to chaturanga, they'll come forward into their plank. And then notice right now my elbows are right above my wrists. They should stay there. So when you go to chaturanga, my elbows are still above my wrist. That never changed. But what happens is the elbows will drop back, people will drop into their shoulders, and that collapse happens again. So we're gonna work on that as well. Another thing, lengthening, we're gonna cover all this stuff. Crown of your head, top toward the rear, forward, elbows back. Crown of the head forward, elbows back. We're gonna go through all this, but I'm just using all the vernacular now. So as you come forward to chaturanga, remember the elbows drop back. Notice when my elbows drop back behind the plane of my wrist, the crown of my head goes backwards. Do the opposite. Press the crown of your head forward and your elbows back at the same time. So when I lower to chaturanga, if I press the crown of my head forward and my elbows back, that brings me forward to chaturanga, not back, dropping into it. Cool? Cool. So we're gonna work that a little bit right here. Think up, go down. Oh, hands. This is where it's at. I'm in chaturanga right now. Let's say I'm in plank pose and my hands are on the ground. When you lower down, your hands, your weight will be above your hands. So you are going to try to spin your hands out. You're going to try to just simply turn them out against the floor. So right now, once again, we're playing pretend. I'm in plank. So now if I go down to plank, all my weight's on my hands. If I try to spin them out, they won't go. But what'll happen is, this is the origin, this is the insertion. So as you try to turn the origin out, and they won't because your weight's on top of them, the origin or the insertion will adjust. So let's try that actually. So just take a seat, comfortable seat if you haven't been already. And put your hands out like this. Right? So basically, we're kind of mimicking chaturanga, right? And then just grab one of your hands. Say, grab your right hand with your left hand, hold it, and try to spin it out. Try to just push it out to the right. What you're gonna notice is your elbow and your upper arm kind of squeeze into your upper body, which is what you're looking for. Try it on the other hand. Just put it like this and try to push it out. And you'll notice that I'm exaggerating it. That arm will hug in. So when you lower down, you're going to try to spin those hands out. Mind you, don't accomplish it. Don't come forward and pick up your hands to turn them out. They're rooted forward. The hinge of your wrists are parallel-ish to the top of your mat, depending on how you're built. But you're going to try to spin those guys as you come down, crown of the head forward, elbows back. Try to spin your hands out. So you're going, oop. But instead of these moving, what's going to happen is your elbows and the upper arms will hug in. Once again, in a flow, you don't want the elbows. You might hear elbows graze your ribs on the way down. No, in my opinion. There's a whole bunch of different opinions out there. Elbows are about an inch from your ribs. Because look, this is my natural structure right now. My natural structure isn't here to squeeze my elbows into my body. It's right here. There's an inch between my ribs and my elbows. Now my upper arms, those guys are squeezing in. Right in the pit, those guys are squeezing in, hugging in. You're trying to spin your hands out. So let's try it. Do it on your knees first. You can still work. Outer shoulders over your mid wrists and your knees about hip distance. Take a breath in, crown of the head forward, elbows back, just come halfway down. Crown of the head forward, elbows back, come back up. Right now you're gonna put the hand spinny deal. I think in the Karate Kid universe, this would be wax off. So this time, crown of the head forward, elbows back, and attempt to spin your hands out. Breathe in. Breathe out, crown of the head forward, elbows back. Try to spin your hands out and feel how the insertion will hug in. Spin your hands out, come back up, rest back. That's a lot of work with your knees on the mat, even that. Crown of the head forward, elbows back, spin your hands out. From the beginning, think up, go down, right? So that means your ears are pressing up. The backs of your knees are pressing up, but you're going down. Unless the knees are modified, but the ears still work. So watch, that's what I'm talking about. Breath in, you come forward to your plank. Now, instead of lowering down, everything in my being is pressing to the sky. But I'm bending my elbows, crown of the head forward, elbows back. Spin your hands out. My knees are pressing up. My ears are pressing up. My hands are spinning out. Elbows back, crown of the head forward. Think up, go down. Yes? Yes. Here we go. I yapped at you. We didn't talk. I talked a ton. So we talked about this though. So either from your knees, when you modify, start in a down dog. So down dog. All right, take a breath in. Come forward to a plank pose, top of a push-up. And from plank pose, stay put, press the backs of your knees up, look down, press your ears up. Even here, attempt to spin your hands out a little bit. Spin them out so the eye of the elbow rolls forward so you can feel what that rotation will feel like. Go back, down dog. Now we're going to do it for reals this time. All grows up. If your knees come down, your knees come down. Or you take a straight up chaturanga. So breathe in, plank, come forward. Think up, go down, breathe out. Elbows back, crown of the head forward. Attempt to spin your hands out, wax off. Up dog, inhale, or modify from your belly if your knees were down. Down dog, roll back. Let's do one more like that. Breath in, plank. Think up, go down. Exhale, crown of the head forward, elbows back, spin your hands out. Up dog, breathe in or modify. Breath out, down dog. Come down onto your knees. Okay, up dog, last part of this whole concoction. When you take your up dog, you're on your hands, obviously. Push your hands out. Don't pick them up and push them out, but same thing as when you spin. Origin, when you push them out, the insertion will draw your shoulder blades down your back. It's a different language to pull your shoulder blades down your back. If you press your hands out, that will acquire you to take the insertion down your back. I'll do one. I'll do one to you. So breath in, plank, crown of the head forward, elbows back, think up, go down, spin your hands out. Up dog, inhale, come up. Watch when I push my hands out. I'm not right now. If I push my hands out, my insertion has to draw down my back. Not pushing my hands out, pushing them out. Down dog. We're going to do 2 more in this workshop. Put it all together. Down dog. This might not come immediately, by the way. Don't sweat it. You practice it. That's hence the yoga practice. So here we go. Inhale, plank pose, come forward. Press your knees up and your ears up. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Crown of the head forward, elbows back. Spin your hands out. Inhale, up dog. Push your hands out, lift your heart up. Exhale, down dog, roll back. Or to your knees is cool. One more, breathe in, come forward. Think up, go down. Exhale, chaturanga, crown forward, elbows back. Spin your hands out. Up dog, inhale. Push your hands out, pull your feet forward. Breath out, down dog. Roll it back. Come down onto your knees. Look at your computer machine. Take a seat. Think up, go down. Push your hands out in your up dog. When you come to chaturanga, crown of the head forward, elbows back. Spin your hands out. They won't, because you're over them, but you push that origin, the insertion will tuck right in. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of yapping by me. You work it, you practice it. Belly is always in because you're thinking up while you go down. All right, that's a lot to absorb. So I will see you soon in the orchard and keep practicing it. Let me know if you got any questions. Later.